nerds, Gleemax here, and today we're looking at the absolute worst mono green commanders, the last of the monocolor video series. As always, we're going to exclude commanders from both Homelands and Portal, as these sets are just too easy to put on a list like this. We're also going to be excluding solo partner creatures as well. Remember to like the video if you liked it, and subscribe for future content. Let's begin. We're going to start with Iname Life Aspect. For 4 green, you get a 4/4 legendary creature spirit. When Iname Life Aspect dies, you may exile it. If you do, return any number of target spirit cards from your graveyard to your hand. Okay, so I have this on the list because I have played Iname as a commander for a while. Iname Life Aspect is on the list because there are frankly very few green spirits, and even less good ones. The idea is to load up your graveyard with things like Altar of Dementia and Codex Shredder to have a stockpile of creatures to get back when you eventually cast and have Iname die. It's just mono green good stuff besides that, with Lifecrafter's Bestiary, Return of the Wild Speaker, Zendikar Resurgent, Rampant Growth, all that good stuff. I have a lot of nostalgia for this card, so it's getting an honorable mention. It's trash though. Alright, we're going to start off the list with Anthousa, Setessan hero. Anthousa is a 4/5 for 3 green. She's a human warrior with the heroic ability, which means whenever she gets targeted by a spell, up to 3 target lands you control become 2/2 warrior creatures until end of turn. They're still lands. There's a lot to unpack here. Firstly, we have to target her, preferably multiple times in a turn to trigger her effect. We can't use abilities, so Rancor and Mortal's Resolve-like effects get in, as well as fight spells like Hunt the Weak or Prey Upon to trigger her heroic ability. The issue really is the payoff. She makes up to 3 lands 2/2 creatures. She doesn't untap those lands though, meaning your lands become very vulnerable to any sort of removal. Anthousa seemingly wants 2 unconnected strategies in one deck. You can focus on fight effects and just use the lands for extra damage, or you can focus on ramping many lands out and making a surprise board of 2/2s with a bunch of single mana targeting effects and overrun your opponent. The potential to be blown out with Starstorm or Fated Retribution or any instant speed effect that can destroy creatures is just way too high. If she untapped the lands, I can see this being a completely broken card, easily netting you mana and storming off. Unfortunately, she doesn't, so Anthousa is our number 5. Next up we have Arashi, the Sky Asunder, a legendary spirit that's a 5/5 for 3 green. Arashi has pay X in green and tap it. It deals X damage to target creature with flying. It also has the channel ability, meaning you can pay X green and discard it from your hand to deal X damage to each creature with flying. This is a pretty bad commander. It relies on opponents to have flying creatures to make use of its ability. In green, we have 3 ways to grant flying to opponents' creatures. Flying Carpet, which grants flying to 1 creature at a time and costs 2 mana to activate. Pixie Queen, which has amazing artwork, but is over $100 because it's on the reserve list. And Predator Flagship, which can grant multiple creatures flying so long as you have enough mana. And that's about it. You run a bunch of archer cards like Femref Archers and removal like Tornado and Plummet to give your opponent creatures flying and then quickly destroy them. It's a cohesive but terribly underwhelming strategy. It's pretty awful to try and pull off, and it honestly feels like giving your things flying would just be an easier path to victory. Arashi is an underwhelming number 4. Number 3 is Mirri Cat Warrior. For 1 green, you get a 2/3 Cat Warrior with First Strike, Force Walk, and Vigilance. That's it. Were you expecting more? I don't typically like to include vanilla creatures, but Mirri isn't a vanilla creature. She's just an awful Voltron commander. The best card in her deck, of course, would be Yavimaya Cradle of Growth, a recent print that makes all lands into forest and essentially just makes her unblockable. From there, of course, you would just try and win with commander damage. Things like Blanchwood Armor or the Blackblade Reforged are used to make her really big, and of course you get Luxdon Warhammer or Basilisk Collar to keep your life total nice and healthy. The problem is there are just so many better mono green commanders that do the exact same Voltron strategy. Yorvo or Mowu or even Marwyn are just so much better because instead of just going all in on a Voltron build in a color combination that is very lackluster for Voltron, you instead get to have fun and interesting sub-themes that lets you flesh out your deck. Mirri is an important lore character, and her card is just straight up a decent uncommon from any current Magic set. She's our number 3. The second worst mono green commander is Glissa Sunseeker. A 3/2 with first strike for 2 green. She can tap and destroy an artifact if its mana value is equal to the amount of unspent mana you have. She has a very strange ability. While it doesn't require mana per se, you still have to add or float mana equal to the mana value of whatever artifact you're trying to destroy it. Glissa's ability is very narrow. It is helped along with liquid metal coating, Thran Forge, and liquid metal torque to let you turn things your opponents control into artifacts that you can then destroy. Coating is great because you can turn a land into an artifact and Glissa can tap and destroy it without you worrying about how much mana you have unspent. Microsynth Lattice is the best card for this effect as it lets Glissa target any permanent for her to destroy. Speaking of mana, Omnath Locus of Mana is a must run. He lets you store up mana in your mana pool and is one of the few ways to keep mana around through phase changes. Glissa needs a lot of work to have a very poor form of removal active. I think the land destruction route might be the best, but I can't see anyone building this and not having Omnath Locus of Mana just being a strictly superior commander choice. She's not the worst though. That honor goes to Isao Enlightened Bushi. Isao is a 2/1 legendary creature human samurai for 2 and a green. He cannot be countered, has Bushido 2, which means if he blocks or becomes blocked, he gets +2/+2 until end of turn. You can also pay 2 and regenerate target samurai. Isao was the only green samurai until June of 2021, where we got one new frog samurai, being Jade Avenger, which honestly, I'd say is a stronger card, being a 2-mana 2/2 with Bushido 2. Isao is support for a tribe which has 37 creatures. Almost all of them are bad. Yes, Jade Avenger is probably the best. And he can only realistically use his ability on himself, which means he is a 2/1, cannot be countered with Bushido 2, and pay 2 to regenerate him. This is a deck that you would essentially only run to have a unique mono green commander. Yeah, you can build it as a Voltron build, but Thrun is right there, being better in every single way. You can even throw Jade Avenger into a Thrun list if you really missed the Frog Samurai. For its poor stats, lackluster ability, strange tribe and color combination, Isao deserves the title of the absolute worst mono green commander. And that is all for the worst mono green commanders. Much more diversity in this list compared to the mono red list. What did you all think? Did I miss any obvious includes on the list? Are any of my places completely out of line? Let me know down in the comments. Remember to like the video if you liked it, subscribe for future videos, and have a great day. Thanks, nerds.